Week 9 reaction in college football. So, we're going to talk about who's going to win the conferences. We got to go over a bunch of these games and talk about what is going on in college football because this was another crazy week of college football that we could not even expect. There were close games where we didn't expect them. There were damn near upsets. Alabama, Texas sneak out the back door. Who's really good, who's not really good. We got to talk about the entire thing. I'm George Wrighster, former NFL player, former college football player, and all around college football savant. And you can see me starting back next week again on CW covering college football. Doing pregame as well. So you guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. So before I'm going to give you guys time to get in here. So we're going to cover before we get into the actual games each of these conferences because through 9 weeks it is clear who the college football potential recipient of the bids are. We got Notre Dame, who is on the they're going to get in provided that they win out. And they already probably had their toughest tests left in Notre Dame. But in the Big Ten, it is clear that there are 3 teams that are getting in: Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. Now, the rest of the Big Ten is not getting respect right now. Washington's not getting respect. USC's not getting respect. Michigan's not getting respect. And Iowa is not getting respect despite them potentially being playoff teams right now. And then, truth be told, if they were in the SEC, then they would be getting much more fanfare than they are right now. But I do, if it started today, we would be getting 3 Big Ten teams in. Now, USC could change that with a win over Oregon, and so could Washington. If they run the table outside of that, then you're going to get 4 Big Ten teams in. But there are some teams that can shake up this whole joint. So in the ACC, you have Georgia Tech, who's in the lead. They're still undefeated. They are the only ACC team left that's undefeated. So if Georgia Tech finishes the season undefeated, and think about it, they play Georgia at the end of the season. If they can beat Georgia, which is very well within the realm of possibility, that would then bump Georgia out, potentially out of the college football playoff. And then if Georgia Tech then loses the ACC championship game, whether it's to Miami, Louisville, Virginia, whoever it is, then you're going to get 2 ACC teams in, which is then going to steal a bid from somebody else. So that is something to look at. So Georgia Tech controls their own destiny in the ACC. Virginia as well controls their own destiny. And then you got Miami and Louisville as well. But Miami and Louisville have already played. So Louisville has the leg up on Miami right now. So that's going to be an um, interesting race to watch. And I like Georgia Tech to potentially finish undefeated. This feels good to me. Over in the Big 12, BYU could do the same thing that Georgia Tech does, that they could steal a bid from the SEC or from the Big 10, depending on their ability to go 12 and 0. And after the way that they won, BYU won today, 12 and 0 is definitely a possibility. I thought that they would drop one. It ain't necessarily going to happen at this point in time. And then if you get a 0-loss team, a 12 and 0 BYU team, and their only losses in the conference championship game, whether it's to Texas Tech or to Cincinnati, oh, bro, it's going to get, there's going to be bid stealing going on. So this is why you're seeing all of these coaches talk about, playoff expansion. All of a sudden, everybody's for playoff expansion now. Yeah, I bet you are. Because when it comes down to taking spots, everybody wants a spot. Then everybody should get a spot. Yeah. I bet you think so now, Kirby Smart. I bet you think so now. Every single other college football coach. Yeah, because you know that things could get sticky for you and your team. Now over in the SEC, their race is the most enticing race, and part of it is because this is why they need to play 9 conference games because you have Bama, and Texas A&M, who are undefeated in the SEC. You got Georgia, Ole Miss, and Vandy, who all have one loss. And guess what? None of those teams play each other for the rest of the season. None of them. There's no common games between Bama, Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Vandy for the rest of the season. So they could all finish the season with the exact same number of losses that they have right now, with Georgia, Ole Miss, and Vandy only having one, and Texas A&M and Alabama only having zero. Then that's where things get tricky, and this is where the SEC would then be like, see, look, we're the greatest conference. Our teams don't even lose. It's just the reality of it. Now we're gonna get even more into that in a little bit, but there were a couple coaches today that got saved by grace. You had Steve Sarkisian, Matt Rule, and Hugh Freeze all got saved by grace, by late wins, and they got a chance to give themselves either some grace and some talking points, or in Hugh Freeze's case, got a chance to, save yourself. But the undercover hot seat that's going on, Dave Aranda at Baylor, who was fancied about for the UCLA job. And I was like, I don't even know why this makes any sense. And then you got Brian Kelly over there at LSU. Stuff's getting hot on both of those situations. But we are going to start with a game that just recently finished. We are going to start with the Oregon-Wisconsin game. We're going to get into the SEC games, the Big Ten games, everything else. So make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, and tell a friend about the show. So Oregon wins this game in an unimpressive score fashion, 21-7. Now, Ohio State beat Wisconsin last week, 34-0. Iowa beat them 2 weeks ago, 37-0. So there was a lot of thought that this was going to be an absolute rout. So there were a couple factors that factored into this game. Oregon came in number 16 in the country, and Wisconsin was absolutely reeling, and their head coach is under fire. So they started Hunter Simmons at quarterback. Hunter Simmons finished the game 7 for 21 for 86 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Now, mind you, and one of the throw, the 42-yarder, it was a chuck and duck, miracle angels in the outfield. That's the only reason why Wisconsin scored in the fourth quarter. They chucked it, made a hero catch, ended up scoring, is what it is. So this is the third time this year that Oregon has held an opponent under 100 yards passing. They did it this week. They did it to Rutgers. They did it to Oregon State, and everybody else they have held significantly in check as well. And I might be missing somebody, but they have not, I believe, only allowed one 200-yard passer, and that was to Indiana. This defense is good. Now, it's funny because when you look at when you're watching the game, if you're an Oregon fan, you're kind of frustrated because you're saying early in the game, oh, Wisconsin's running the football. They're not getting no yards. I mean, they're piling up some first downs, but they're not getting points. They finished the game 29 carries, 110 yards, no touchdowns, 3.8 yards a carry. And then you only pass, so they finished with less than 200 yards of total offense. That is a very good defensive performance. Now, on the other side of it, you do not love what you saw out of the Ducks in the first half in terms of running the football. Now, mind you, let's talk about this. So their first drives. So first things first. Dan Lanning is an absolute demon and an absolute maniac for how he started this football game. He onside kicked it as a 35 point favorite to start the game, to just try to just demoralize you from the beginning of the game. So Oregon's first drive, 4 plays, -2 yards. Second drive, 5 plays, 6 yards, punt. Actually, four plays, turnover on downs. Punt, 5 plays, 6 yards. Next one, 3 plays, -2 yards, and a punt. Next drive, 6 plays, 13 yards, and a punt. That's the first quarter. And then the second quarter, you only get one possession. You go 16 plays, 99 yards, over 8 minutes and 24 seconds. So this was 7-0 at halftime. Nobody had that on their bingo card. But at that point in time, if you were watching this football game, you were sitting there thinking, Oregon has enough points to win right now. That it would be highly unlikely if Wisconsin could even score in the game. But then in the second quarter, Oregon gets the ball. 7 plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes and a touchdown. And then the next drive, I believe that's when Dante Moore ends up getting hurt. So he ends up getting hurt in the game. And the biggest question that Oregon fans have been wondering is, who is the backup quarterback? So Dante Moore, he gets hit over the bridge of his nose. It's clear his nose is either broken or some sort of, just got a really bad nosebleed from his helmet coming down, or he got hit in the face through the helmet. Either way. And he did not come back in the game. Oregon had the game in hand. And the question was it Austin Novosad who was in the quarterback battle with him? Because Brock Thomas, a walk-on, was playing for the Ducks last week at Rutgers. And you're like, okay, well, it was a blowout. Like, everybody's thinking, are they trying to get Austin Novosad a medical red shirts? Ain't nobody got no red shirts left except Akili Smith Jr. And you have a walk-on who Dan Lanning has said has earned his reps playing for the Oregon Ducks. And you guys, make sure that you like, subscribe, keep putting everything in the chat. I will get to your questions and comments in the chat about each individual game that we go over. So there were a few. So one, we know who the backup quarterback is now. It is Brock Thomas. It is a walk-on, and he did a pretty good job. He put the ball in danger a couple of times. He almost threw 2 picks, but he hasn't played a lot of football. You got to give him a little bit of grace, but he also made sure he handled snaps because it was pissing outside. That was, how they say it never rains in Austin Stadium? Well, it was storming in Austin Stadium tonight. The ball was wet, was slipping all over the place. It was not ideal conditions, and it was super windy too. So it was not ideal conditions for good offensive play. And I know that a lot of people are going to be hypercritical about it, but that's just the reality, is that you're not going to put up great offense in conditions like that. And that's actually one of the things that, even though that you had some weather in the Miami game, you had some weather, I think, in the Ole Miss game, the SEC schools don't have to deal with the weather that the Big 12 schools do and the Big 10 schools do, because there's snow coming up. There is freezing temperatures, which you don't really get as much. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But I do think that things were established in the Oregon game, because one of the things that people have been wondering, who is running back one? And I finally was happy to see somebody get over 15 carries. You had Jordan Davison, 16 for 102 and 2 touchdowns. He is clearly RB1, even though he doesn't start at this point in time. But Noah Whittington, good performance as well. 14 for 97. It was good. And the wide receiver showed up in what was terrible weather. And yeah, it was good. Overall, I still think that this team is a very good team. They go into another bye week and then they go out to Iowa, who is cooking with Crisco right now. Then they get Minnesota at home, USC, and then Washington. So it is going to be exciting to see what happens with Oregon. Okay, let me go in the chat, see if there's anything there that we need to go. Yeah. Um, yeah. The people are questioning about the second string the second string quarterback, and it said the offensive line was trash. Yeah, it was not. The offensive line was not good in the first half. It was not good at all. Now, people do believe Iowa's going to eat up Oregon's offensive line. Listen, Oregon has better athletes than Iowa does, but we'll get more into that as the as we continue to get to that game in a couple weeks. Um, now, now we got to talk about this Indiana versus UCLA game. This was a game where you had people predicting that Indiana was going to get beat by UCLA. I was like, there is no chance in hell unless UCLA has an angels in the outfield type of game where like miracles are happening all over the place. Pick sixes, fumble sixes, all this sorts of stuff. And the thing that we learned, and I hope that anybody watched this game learned, Indiana is not last year's Indiana. They are as good as advertised. And their defensive coordinator, Harrison, he should be in line for head coaching jobs right now. They took UCLA and put them in an absolute headlock. This was 100% unbelievable what we got a chance to see. And if Oregon gets an opportunity to play Indiana again, I am interested to see how that game turns out. Very interested to see how that game turns out because Indiana, who I have as the number one team in the nation right now, they do not look but at the same time, they don't look perfect. If you can stop their run game, press their wide receivers, but this defense is nasty. Defense is nasty. You got Aiden Fisher. They're a linebacker, pick six in the beginning of this game. Fernando Mendoza playing clean, playing efficient. They were 23 and a half point favorites and won 56-6, and it felt like that they could have won even bigger. And their next three games at Maryland, that's not going to be a problem. At Penn State, who knows? It's not like Penn State is devoid of talent. And then Wisconsin, which they're going to dominate Wisconsin as well, at least the way Oregon did, like that they're going to win this football game. But now on the UCLA side, this is where it gets fascinating because people are wondering who their head coach is going to be and who they should hire. And as college football's honesty broker, there are not a lot of immediate good options in terms of who you can hire at UCLA that you can guarantee to have success with. Therefore, I believe that the answer is to hire Tim Skipper, particularly if he beats Nebraska next week, and then the following week they're going to lose to Ohio State, but then they get Washington and USC. If he can finish 2-3 because they lost today in their last 5 games, he should be the new head coach of UCLA. He absolutely should. And if Indiana is not having more first place votes tomorrow, we are going to have some conversations about this on this program. The next game up that we have to talk about, this one just finished. Texas A&M versus LSU. I want to be as honest as I can about this game without without not appreciating what Texas A&M went into Death Valley and did. Because on one hand, that was a very good victory by Texas A&M. Now, on the other hand of it, Texas A&M is completely overrated. That's just the truth. Texas A&M is completely overrated, and so was LSU. LSU is not a top 25 team. Their offense is atrocious, and it has been since they played Clemson. So it is hard for me to put a lot of stock in this game for Texas A&M. But I appreciated their domination. But the truth is that if you can force Texas A&M to throw the football and not let Marcel Reed run all over you like he did LSU today, because they have a problem with running quarterbacks. He was 13 for 108 and 2 touchdowns. He will do what he did today, which is be about 50% passing, about 200 and some yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. That's what he will do. Marcel Reed will 100% throw the football to you. And this is why I do not trust Texas A&M. Are they going to, when you look at the rest of their schedule, they're at Missouri, who Bo Perbula is out. They're starting a true freshman, so they should win that game. They got South Carolina, which is South Carolina can't score, but they'll be able to score against Texas A&M because Texas A&M's defense isn't even that great. They were giving LSU plenty of opportunities to score today. Then they play Samford, and then they play Texas. So it is hard for me to envision a world where Texas A&M does not, well, loses more than one game in the regular season. So I feel like we can button and put Texas A&M in the college football playoff right now. This is a team that we can just say, all right, they're in. End of story. Nothing else to talk about. It I'm sorry, but it just makes sense. Now, do I believe that they're one of the best teams in the country? They're a better team in the country. I just don't believe in them as much because of their quarterback play. I believe is going to be a liability at some point in time. But are they a top 12 team? 100%. And LSU, all of these are paper tigers. And Brian Kelly, they gave him everything that he wanted. They gave him recruiting. They gave him NIL money, all of this stuff. And he has found a way. And mind you, he won't take any credit for this. He will not take any credit for this. He has turned Garrett Nussmeier, a guy who threw for 4,000 yards last year, into a guy that is who is averaging what? He hasn't even had a 300-yard game this season. He's got multiple hundred and something yard games. He's looking like a 2,800-yard passer right now. He only has 11 touchdowns and he's got 5 picks right now. This is tough. This is tough. All right. I told you guys that there were 6 most important games of the weekend. 6. And Texas A&M and LSU was one of the 6 most important games this weekend. Because you have Brian Kelly fighting for his life, and he is not in the situation where he can, be choosy and be picky right now. Hold up. Hey, chat, go Irish. So I gotta answer this. Drop $10 in the chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Look at the free safety from South Carolina, number 1 on that last touchdown. Ole. He let him score and even threw up the TD signal as he walked in. He said, if I was a bet man, I would stop. Listen, DBs, they will turn it down, bro. They will 100% turn it down. And because as a DB, you have to have contact courage. And there are a lot of DBs that don't want to hit people. And so I'm not gonna say that he's throwing the game because at football and I'm gonna get into this just a quick second since go Irish had me go off on this tangent is people talk about games potentially being fixed and all of this stuff. Football is by far, like if you were trying to fix something other than the officials, and even the officials, it is the hardest game to fix by far. Because even if you got the quarterback and he's trying to fix the game, he can't guarantee that the wide receivers are going to catch the ball, that they're going to drop the ball, that the O-line is going to block everybody, that the running back won't fumble, that like you can't guarantee a lot of things. So there's so many things that are out of your control in football. It feels impossible to actually fix. Now, basketball, where a star player can really control the game, I think that that's a totally different story. Hey, you guys, make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, and tell a friend. But I told you guys there were six most important games this weekend. You had Texas A&M, LSU, and y'all keep banging away in the chat. I appreciate you. So we got to that one. Then we had the Vanderbilt Missouri game. I watched this game. This game was 3-3 at halftime, and it looked to me like the pressure of being undefeated. Well, not undefeated, but being 6-1 at that point in time. The pressure is weighing on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is starting to feel it because they are usually the hunter. And today they played Missouri. Diego Pavia, 10 for 19, no touchdowns and an interception. Like, this was not an impressive offensive performance by any stretch of the imagination. Vanderbilt had 265 yards. Missouri had 376. Neither one of these teams was good on third down. Missouri was 5 for 16. Vanderbilt was 3 for 20. And this is the problem with teams that aren't used to being there. Teams that are not used to winning is that when the pressure starts building up on them, they start feeling it in their chest. They get tight. They're like, "Oh my God, we can't lose. We're on the precipice of something big. We might win the SEC." And that weight starts wearing on you. And their head coach, Clark Lee, he is gonna have to find a way to make sure that he's getting Diego Pavia relaxed, because he didn't look as fluid and as calm and as arrogant self as he normally does, because he's trying not to make mistakes. And when you don't play who you are, then that's when things get tough. Oh, okay, go Iris. He said he didn't say it was fixed. Okay. My mistake on what you were saying. But yeah. Yeah, so that game was crazy important because Clark Lee, his name is being fancied about for the Penn State job, Florida job, all these jobs. I do not believe, if you watched Clark Lee on game day this morning, you would know that ain't a man who's leaving his alma mater. He believes that they can do it. The school is supporting them, they're resourcing them, and everything else. They're going to be able to win big at Vanderbilt. Especially if they get another quarterback who believes, because now recruits are looking and they're saying, "Oh my God, you got Jared Curtis, who is Georgia's quarterback commit right now, 5-star commit. He was down at the game at Vanderbilt today. He wasn't down there just for no reason." I know Georgia people will tell you, "Oh, he just wanted to enjoy a football game." All right. Diego Pavia gonna be gone next year, and it is gonna be a clear-cut starter. And he's like, "I can go there and start instead of going to go sit behind Gunnar Stockton next year or battle that out." Mm-mm-mm. But this Missouri team, without Bo Perbula, who got hurt today, without their original starting quarterback, starting a true freshman, this is probably going to be it for them. It is. It is probably going to be it. So outside of the top 25, they were 15 coming in this week. It's about time that we get Missouri up out of the top 25. It's just true. They have no business being in there at this point in time. Their wins are Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, South Carolina, who's bad, UMass, and Auburn, who's bad. And they've lost to the two good teams that they've played in Alabama and Vanderbilt. So there's no reason why they should be ranked in the top 25 at this point in time. Gotta go. Another one of the games that I told you guys was crazy important this week was the Northwestern Nebraska game. And Northwestern found a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in this game. It was actually sad, to be honest with you, because I thought that Northwestern would win this football game. They were 5-2, and they had an opportunity. They turned Dylan Raiola over in the fourth quarter in scoring territory, and then their quarterback Preston Stone goes to go and throw another pick. Now, here is what I know, and here is the truth. There is so much propping up of Dylan Raiola. It is not that the kid does not have talent. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's big. He looks good getting off the bus. But there are a couple things. One thing is he takes way too many sacks. Now, in this game, he only took one sack. But when you look at his numbers, 16 for 22, 141 yards. He did make a couple nice throws today, but he's the kind of guy that could have 40 completions for like 198 yards. He is going to dink and dunk. He's not going to take a lot of the big shots. Now it could be their offense, the way that Dana Holgerson is doing things, or the way Matt Rule wants to do things, and try to protect this defense. But this is not the way to win football games. Do you know who Matt Rule and this offense remind me of a little bit? James Franklin. James Franklin at Penn State. And you know who's probably going to be the next Penn State head coach? Matt Rule. So that's why this game was very, very important, because Matt Rule, he is on the verge of taking that Penn State job. And Nebraska, they played like he was getting ready to take that job last week against Minnesota. They rebounded on some level, but if they don't give, and again, Penn State needs to hire Fran Brown, but that's a whole nother story. The next game that we got to talk about that was crucial this week, Illinois versus Washington. I picked Washington to finish fifth in the Big Ten coming into this season. I picked Illinois to finish in the top four and go to the playoff. And Illinois has found a way to let me down because they lost to USC. If they had beat USC and lost to Washington, everything would be fine. But this game meant a lot to people who put way too much stock in a win or a loss in terms of coaching searches, because you have Jed Fish, who's Washington's head coach. Now, mind you, the thing that people aren't really paying attention to with him, he's got one of the bigger buyouts at $10 million to get up out of Washington. His name's been thrown about the UCLA job, the Florida job, and potentially some of these other jobs that open up. But one name that hasn't been thrown around is Brett Bielema, because he has done a great job. He did a great job at Wisconsin. He did some things at Arkansas that they hadn't done in a long time, but they had unrealistic expectations for what that was supposed to look like. And now he has rebuilt Illinois. And this feels like that they are trending in the right direction. We're not talking about Kurt Signetti trending in the right direction, because that feels like an outlier result for a lot of people. Um, so so that game was absolutely huge, and Washington tore the cover. They tore the cover off of Illinois today, 42-45. And Damon Williams, Washington's quarterback, when this dude is when he is allowed to scramble, when he is when if you can't contain him, you cannot contain Washington. The two games he got bottled up were against Ohio State and then against Michigan, where Washington only scored 7 points versus Michigan and 6 points versus Ohio State. If you can contain the little fella, you will beat Washington, especially if Washington is on the road, because they are a whole different football team when they are on Montlake at home versus when they are on the road. You do not want to play Washington and Washington. They are tough. But they still have not gotten Jonah Coleman a 100-yard game, who he hasn't rushed for 100 yards since the second game of the season against UC Davis. So their running game is not where it needs to be. But this pass game is tough. 26 for 33, 280, and 4 touchdowns after that horrendous performance against Michigan, where he threw three picks, basically threw the game away. But this Washington team is tough. No. It was 42-25. Washington won 42-25 against Illinois, not 42-45. But their wide receiver, Denzel Boston, 10 catches, 153 and a touchdown. This was their defense really is what shut Illinois down. Illinois They got Luke Altmaier to throw him 2 picks because Illinois wants to sit up. They want to run you over and run the football, control the clock. And Washington was just bing, 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 big play, big play, big play. Let me check their third down percentage because that had to be good. Yep, they were 9 for 12. Illinois was 9 for 12 on third down too. Jesus Christ, where's the defense? Get off the field. But yeah, but Washington did get two picks today, so that saved their game. But good Lord, you can't let people go 9 for 12 on on third down. Lord have mercy, that's really bad. But this Washington team, I do believe that they're going to be ranked. Finally, I had them ranked in my poll 2 weeks ago after they got beat down by Michigan. They were out of the poll. They were number 26 this last week, but I do believe that they're going to take the place of, because in the AP poll, Illinois is going to fall out, LSU is going to fall out, Arizona State's going to fall out, and maybe Missouri, maybe, but probably not. So those three are going to fall out, and then you'll probably have USC and Washington vault up into the polls, probably. That's my guess. And probably Iowa too. Iowa, who did not have, I don't even think they got a vote last week. They're probably gonna vault up there as well. Um but then you're gonna have Memphis probably come back in. This is gonna be like, it is hard to rank these top 25 teams, and I do it every single week. So y'all know it's tough. Another game that was big. Oh, all right. I will answer this question now. I answered it a little bit earlier, but the crowd changes all the time. What Big Ten teams do you think will make the college football playoff, and any chance for USC? I think it is 3 teams that are shoe-ins to make it right now: Indiana, Ohio State, who don't play each other, Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. Those feel like the teams that are going to get in. Now, USC does play Oregon. So if USC can navigate the rest of their schedule, which I am not 100% that they're going to be able to do, then yes, a 10-2 USC team with a win over Oregon is going to get in the playoffs. And honestly, they might actually knock Oregon out, but Oregon would be 10-2 as well. So depending on how the SEC does and all that stuff, they would definitely be a bubble team at that point in time. But USC still has they're at Nebraska this week, which is, stuff could get sticky there because Nebraska's defense is pretty good. Northwestern, they're going to run over Northwestern. That Iowa game could get sticky. They're at Oregon, and then they're UCLA, which is a rivalry game. So things can get tricky there. I just don't see. I do not believe that USC is going to be able to beat Nebraska, Iowa, Oregon, and UCLA. I don't believe that they're going to be able to win all 4 of those games, or even, I think that they're going to lose at least 2 of those football games, which will put them at a 9-4. I'm sorry, an 8-4 football team, which is kind of what I expected them to be in the preseason. The last game that I told you guys was one of the most important games of the week. Actually, we didn't even go over the Auburn game yet, but South Florida, Memphis. South Florida, Memphis. This and somebody brought up a good point in the chat about North Texas making the college football playoff, but it is going to get very interesting because North Texas, their only loss is to South Florida. But then Memphis just beat South Florida today. So now you got Memphis above South Florida, but South Florida beat North Texas. So North Texas is going to have to get to the American Championship game to get to the college football playoff. But with Memphis and South Florida in front of them, I don't know if that happens. And North Texas and Memphis don't play each other. But you do have Tulane, who is in front, Tulane and Navy, who are in front. So Tulane plays at Memphis. So that's going to be a deciding factor. And then Memphis plays Navy as well. Navy plays South Florida, and Navy plays Notre Dame. So if Navy can beat Notre Dame, then they're going to have the inside track there as well. Um, oh, oh, okay. So I will put go Irish. Hey, if you can tag me in a tweet with that last play, I can put it up. But let's go on, and then I will put it up on the screen for you. All right. So we got Auburn, Arkansas. The reason why this game was so important to today. Oh, he said no. Notre Dame is going to give Navy belt to ass. Probably. Oh, that is probably going to happen. The service academy stuff is cool until you line up with super dogs. Until you line up against NFL players. That's when that goes out of the window. Oh, a legitimate. Before I get to the Auburn, Arkansas, you are 100% right, dude. Nobody is talking about San Diego State as the group of five, group of six representative. And it's actually dirty and it's actually wrong. Because the biggest issue is this: group of five / group of six teams do not get ranked properly. They do not. Because the big name teams from the Power Four conferences are always going to get the benefit of the doubt first. Hell, even James Madison is sitting at 6-1 right now, and they should be getting some love too. San Diego State beat the hell out of Cal. They beat the hell out of Cal. Now, had they beat Washington State, because Washington State pushed, I think it was Ole Miss to the brink. That Washington State loss is not looking real pretty right now. So I think that's their only wart at this point in time, is that it was Washington State. Had it been like Ole Miss and it was a close game, they would probably be getting way more love, like South Florida is right now, because South Florida got love for beating Boise State. Then they beat Florida. Florida stinks. Florida stinks. And then they got beat the hell out of by Miami. So the South Florida doesn't feel as good as everybody thought that they were. And then they lost to Memphis today anyway. Um, yeah. So so it is very difficult to judge these group of five teams. 100%. Um, all right. So this Auburn Arkansas game. Auburn and Hugh Freeze got a stay of execution. Oh, he got a reprieve. He got a chance to go home. If you looked at Hugh Freeze at the end of the game, when he was doing his press conference, he was crying because you know how much this game meant to him, because they were down in this game too. They were down 21-10 at halftime. He even switched quarterbacks. He benched Jackson Arnold, brought out Ashton Daniels, who's a runner as well. And they rode Jeremiah Cobb, 28 carries, 153 yards. They ran it 50 times and only threw it 20. Auburn, Hugh Freeze, he was crying after the game because he knows that everything is on the line right now. And he found a way to beat Arkansas. Yes, Arkansas is only 2-6, but this game mattered for Bobby Petrino, because Bobby Petrino, if he wants the Arkansas head coaching job, which you know he does, he needed to beat Auburn. If he beat Auburn and then came back and beat Mississippi State, oh God, he and then perform well against LSU, which is a winnable game too, he will for sure get the head coaching job. For sure get the head coaching job. Go Iris, did you find that tweet? If you did, put it in there and I will put it up on the screen for you. All right. The next games that we got to talk about. Oh gosh, that Alabama game. So we had, okay, come on, Alabama. So we had Alabama versus South Carolina. And people were watching this game. Alabama got out of there with the hair on their chinny chin chin, buddy. This was South Carolina. South Carolina wasn't even playing good. South Carolina's offense is one of the most brutal things that you will see. Do you do you want to know who Lenora Sellers is right now? He is a upgraded, still not NFL version of Anthony Richardson. If Lenora Sellers goes to the draft this year, he will be he will be Anthony Richardson, just a tad bit better. He holds on to the ball too long. He's inaccurate, and he just needs more reps and to get better. That's it. That's it. But I like the kid, his talent, his playmaking ability, all of that. He just has to be a better passer for him to have success in the NFL. This is just the truth. He needs more starts. And honestly, I do not even think that this South Carolina offense is fit for him. I think it's a bad idea. He doesn't want if you pay attention to Lenora Sellers, he ran the ball 18 times for 67 yards today. But the way he's running the ball versus the way he used to run the football, it ain't the same. He ain't running with the same courage and all of that stuff. He's playing not to get hurt. He's playing safe. This is why he's holding on to the ball too long. He doesn't want to throw picks, doesn't want to put the ball in danger. That's what I'm watching when I'm watching him on film. And you can't play like that. But Alabama, they showed today they are vulnerable. They're finding ways to win football games, but in this 29-22 win over South Carolina, think about how this worked out. Lenora Sellers threw a check down in the beginning of the game. Now, granted, it wasn't the best. Like his dude was gonna get blasted, which is why he dropped the ball for a pick six. So Alabama, part of this 29 points was a pick six, a gift. And then they ended up with the fumble at the end of the game when Lenora Sellers fumbled. That gave them the game. This game was over. South Carolina choked. And do you know why they choked? Shane Beamer is why they choked. Have you guys watched Shane Beamer on the sideline? He's just exasperated, flipping his head, flipping his damn headset off and everything else all the time. You can't be that emotional coaching. And I know that Nick Saban and other guys show emotion, but it's not the same thing. Like it's all this huffing and puffing and all of this stuff. It's not it. I'm telling you, it's not it. It's too much. Oh, and this is okay. I'm glad Know Thyself Truth brought this up. This is a football strategy thing that I do not understand why people do not do this. If you're up 1 point, especially in the fourth quarter, and you score a touchdown, now you're up 7. Why on earth do you kick an extra point? Go for 2. Because worst case scenario, you're up by 7. Most teams are not going to go for 2. Go for 2, and if you get it, you go up 9. You're up 2 scores. 2 scores. That puts so much pressure on the other team. I cannot understand why people do not do this. It feels like one of the biggest strategic errors. When we see teams down 14 in the fourth quarter, and they go for 2 after they score, they will do that part of the analytics. The way then if they get it, now all of a sudden they can go win the game. If not, they can go for 2 again. And 2-point conversions are about 50-50 anyway. So you give yourself a chance to win. And so if they will follow that level of analytics, the analytics tell you as well to go for 2 if you're up 7. It is silliness. Come on, man. And I would agree that it's the same thing with Hugh Freeze, all this stuff. As a coach, you cannot play scared. Fortune favors the aggressive in sports. Scared money don't make no money. This is why James Franklin can't win big games. He's constantly playing defense. You have to be on offense at all times. All times. It's crazy. Crazy. And so all of these people that have been talking about Shane Beamer and the Virginia Tech job, y'all have at it. Y'all have at it because I do not. It's not that Shane Beamer is not a competent head coach. So don't get me wrong there. I just don't want him to be my head coach. Legitimate question just came in. How many teams do I believe that can win the national championship this year? I believe we are in a very unique situation in what I believe is the greatest season in college football history. I believe Ohio State can win. I believe Indiana can win. And mind you, I want to preface this. When I say that they can win, think about this like the NFL model. Remember when the Giants got in as the sixth seed twice and won the Super Bowl? Remember when the Ravens won with Joe Flacco? That's what I'm talking about. Is there are teams that are going to be like the Kansas City Chiefs when they were the best team in football and they won, and then there's going to be years where the sixth seed wins, or like last year's a little bit of an anomaly because of the way the seeding was, but the eighth seed won. So I'm gonna say the teams that can get hot and win 3 or 4 games. Okay, Ohio State, Indiana. I'm even gonna give Texas A&M some love, even though I don't want to. I don't believe that they can go 4 straight games or even 3 straight games and just I don't. But they continue to win and they beat another team that I believe that is on this list in Notre Dame. So I got to put Texas A&M on there. I'm going to put Alabama on there. I'm going to put Oregon on there. And I am going to, and on the fringe, I got Georgia, Miami, if Carson Beck stops throwing freaking interceptions, and Texas Tech, if Baron Morin is playing. So maybe 9 teams, but I got 6, and then I got 3 on the fringe. Yeah, that's where I think we're at right now. Because there's not another team that I believe that can string together 3 or 4 wins. I like Georgia Tech. I just feel like at some point in time they're going to run out of talent. Comments. I don't know if we know how good Indiana is till they play Ohio State in the conference championship. I don't think Oregon or Illinois is a good measuring stick for them. Listen, that Oregon team is good. Listen. You can. This is one of the better teams in all of college football, and they did some nice things to Oregon because Indiana is more well coached than they are talented, but they're more talented than they were last year. That's the important thing. Can't believe Notre Dame didn't feast on Carson Beck's horrible decision making. Yeah. It was the beginning of the season. No, Notre Dame wasn't who they are, and Carson Beck is having a crisis of confidence right now. He is back to having confidence issues, which is not good for Miami at this point in time. But good God. And so we'll talk about that Miami game now because Malachi Tony, if you guys have not watched a Miami game, actually, first let me put a button on this Alabama game, this Alabama South Carolina game, because I focused a lot on South Carolina, but now I want to talk about Alabama. Ty Simpson, this kid is good. He might be the best quarterback in college football right now. Not in terms of who's going to have the highest ceiling in terms of going to the NFL, because I think that some of the younger guys will be better than him. But he's the best, probably the best quarterback in college football right now. Him and Fernando Mendoza. Probably Fernando won, him, Ty Simpson too, because Ty Simpson was just okay versus Florida State. You can't really find a Fernando Mendoza just okay game. And Ty, he missed a couple throws today. He missed Jeremy Bernard on what would have been a walk-in touchdown. He was just okay today. But Alabama's biggest crime, they can't run the football. 23 for 72 and a touchdown. If South Carolina doesn't have some busts on defense on those Daniel Hill catches, Alabama loses this football game. And if South Carolina don't turn the ball over, Alabama loses this football game. They snuck out the back door with this one, pal. And this is why Alabama keeps winning. But you know what Alabama feels like to me? Do you remember when Jameis Winston, so Florida State won the national championship. The next year in the 2014 season, they come out and they are just sneaking by everybody. Like, you're just like, bro, how aren't they losing? And then they got in the playoff playing against Oregon and got destroyed in the Rose Bowl. That's who Alabama is. Alabama is sneaking by. They are walking through the raindrops right now. And eventually they will get wet. I know a lot of people pick them to win the national championship. No. I do believe that, mind you, I just told you that they are a team that can string together those wins. But if they don't lose from here on out, they can't do it. This feels like one of them Ohio State teams like last year where they need a loss to motivate them and get them right, except for Alabama's defense. It don't look like Ohio State's defense. And Alabama can't run the football, and you will not be able to win a national championship without running the football at a high level, and they got to get that fixed. So if they don't get that fixed, there's no chance that they win, no matter how talented that this team is. But you can see the parity in college football, and I love it. But now let's get to what game did I just tell you I wanted to get to? Hmm. Okay. Oh, okay. So we've not talked about any of the Big 12 action yet. Oh my God, Utah is up on Colorado 43 to nothing. Jesus, Dion called. Oh my Jesus, take the wheel. um, BYU, who I expected to struggle with Iowa State today. You guys, if you guys have not watched BYU and don't trust them, I understand why, but you need to give them a second look. You need to give them a second look because this team, this BYU team led by the freshman Bear Bachmeier, they were trailing 24 to 10 and they went on a 31 to 3 run starting in the second quarter. They just shut them down. This was a road win. Bear Bachmeier's best game because it was a road win. Iowa State's getting healthy. 22 for 35 for 307 and 2 touchdowns. And then he rushed for another 49 yards and a touchdown as well. Now, BYU had trouble running the football against them at only 3.7 yards a carry, but their defense stood up. 3 interceptions of Rocco Beck, who's a good quarterback, who I believe is for sure an NFL quarterback. He got Brock Purdy written all over him, except probably a little bit more talented. So you guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. If you're watching it on Twitter, please go on YouTube and search Unafraid Show, or actually I'll put the link in there as well so you guys can check it out on there because you're watching it. All right. Okay, so I think I got tagged in that video, so I'll put that video up in just a minute. But okay, so BYU, give them a look, people. They're number 11 in the country right now. They're not going to move up very much because they're going to get hated on a bit. But they're at Texas Tech in their next game. They're off this next week, and so they have a bye, and then they play at Texas Tech. Baron Morris may be back for Texas Tech, unless Texas Tech is going to keep rolling with the freshmen. But they played Oklahoma State this week, so so they didn't need anybody. They didn't need Will Hammond. Even Mitch Griffiths got in the game. So that Texas Tech game, BYU is going to tell you everything that you need to know about the power in the Big 12. Because Texas Tech is a good football team. They dropped way too many spots when they lost their game because their starting quarterback was out. Their starting quarterback was out, and it's not that their backup quarterback is not good, but they were playing Arizona State, who's a good football team as well. So yes, you are lost. If we were in the SEC, we would be hearing all the excuses in the world. So give them same excuses that you're willing to give everybody else. I'm just saying. All right. Oh, so I told you guys that I would show the because I got tagged in the video. Let me see it. Oh my God. Oh. Okay. So, all right. Let me pull this up. So this was brought up in the chat about this play in the Alabama South Carolina game. Yes, he absolutely let this man score. And I believe that it was on purpose. But it was because this is what he was coached to do. All right. So here is the play here. So Jeremy Bernard's doing the end around. I believe that this is a heads up play. He let Jeremy Bernard score because there was seconds left in the game, and if Alabama just if they don't score there, then they're just going to kick a field goal to win the game. And if they kick a field goal, then the game's over. But at least South Carolina, if they let them score, they at least have some recourse to try to go down and even it up instead of just a chip shot field goal to win the game. So, yeah. So that's why. Yeah, it was definitely an Ole, but I believe in seeing it again that was definitely intentional because I remember watching it because I had multiple screens up. I was like, damn, that was an awful ass tackle. But yeah, all right. What other games do we have to get to? Oh, Michigan and Michigan State. I was highly, I felt very good about how this game went. It went exactly the way I believed it would go. I did think that there was a chance that Michigan State could upset Michigan, but Michigan State 30, oh sorry, Michigan 31, Michigan State 20. Bryce Underwood 8 for 17 for 86 yards. Here's the thing I'm gonna tell you. Bryce Underwood is not Michigan's best option at quarterback right now. Mikey Keene is, if he's healthy, is their best option in terms of winning football games. Sharon Moore, he's playing the money right now, which I don't believe is the best move, but he's also playing for next year. He's like, we can win games with this kid, get experience with him, and he will be allegedly lights out next year. That's the plan. This is the same thing that Florida eventually did with DJ Lagway once the other kid who transferred in from Wisconsin when he got hurt. They were trying to bank on that. Now, granted, that did not turn out well for DJ Lagway. So I am not 100%, even though that I predicted that Michigan would be a problem in 2026. I also believed that Bryce Underwood would have a better time passing in general. Now, granted, the Washington game was good, 21 for 27 for 230, two touchdowns. The USC game was the threw for 270 against Wisconsin. So he's had some decent passing games, but it is a lot of it is behind the line of scrimmage. These are design runs, and he'll make some nice off platform throws. But I don't necessarily love everything I'm seeing out of Bryce Underwood right now. And if I'm being honest, I can't tell you 100% that I'm a believer, believer at this point in time. Um, okay, so the speed round. So as we go through games, we had Georgia Tech beat Syracuse 41-16, and Haynes King showed out, 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and he had a 5 touchdown game. He rushed the ball 12 times for another 91 yards. He was a single-handed just wrecking machine today. And a lot of people have asked me, they're like, George, how could you say that Syracuse's head coach Fran Brown, that he should be the next head coach of Penn State, um, when he's not winning at Syracuse? He's playing with his backup quarterback this year because Angeli got hurt, and he was doing well before that. Last year, he took Ohio State's the throwaway quarterback, threw for over 4,000 yards, one of the best offenses. So yes, if you give Fran Brown Penn State resources and a Penn State logo, he is going to absolutely kill it. I'm just talking. I want to take a. Okay. So the chat says Michigan doesn't have any weapons around Bryce Underwood. I I cannot agree with that. I cannot agree with that because we have seen these dudes make incredible catches, incredible plays. Uh, uh, uh Donovan McCulley, number one, has made a lot of big catches. Andrew Marsh as well. They've made catches. It's that this offense is not designed to do that. And Sharon Moore has to find a way to let his offense coordinator free, let his wings free. But they are trying to protect Bryce Underwood on some level, and Michigan State just didn't have enough to be able to knock him off today. And my boy Aiden Childs, I feel sorry for the kid because I like him, but uh, better football must be played. It must. This is a bottom line business. All right. We did not talk about the Ole Miss game. We have not talked about this Ole Miss game, and I don't know how we have neglected this game. So Ole Miss went on the road, and Lane Kiffin, who has been talked about for this Florida job, and last week they absolutely choked. They choked versus Georgia and gave a game away. They go on the road at Oklahoma. Now, there's a couple things here. Let's focus on the winners first. Trinidad Chambliss, the best thing that happened to Lane Kiffin was Austin Simmons getting hurt, so he was forced to play Trinidad Chambliss. And Lane Kiffin made the bonehead decision today after Trinidad Chambliss driving them down the field to take him out of the game and put Austin Simmons at quarterback inside the 10-yard line. And you're like, what are you doing, Lane? How does this make any sense? Keep running your offense. Keep doing what you're doing. He got to a term that my boy likes to use, trick dick. Like, it was way too much. If they had lost the game, that would have been why. But the thing I do like about Lane Kiffin is that he has grown and matured into a guy who will not give up on the run. 27 carries for Keywan Lacey today, only 78 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, had some big runs, and some crucial runs. because as a play caller, when your runs are not working, when you're running for 2.8 yards to carry like you did today, it is hard to stay with it. And you just want to throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it. But he does a good job of sticking with it because he calls so many plays off of it, and I loved it. This was a really good performance by Ole Miss. And Brent Venables, his defense at Oklahoma, he is suffering from the same thing that Steve Sarkisian is at Texas, which is which is being a head coach and a play caller is too much. You can't win national championships like that. Because as a head coach, as soon as somebody gets in trouble, you got to go fundraise. You got to meet with this donor. The athletic director got some issues. You got to talk about schedules and jerseys and interviews and all of this stuff. You don't have enough time to game plan sometimes and dedicate to it like you want to. You can say you can multitask all you want to, but multitasking is only doing more than one thing half-ass. And Brent Venables has been doing a great job at calling plays for the defense. But now that the season is getting long, he's getting tired. His defense, more interviews, trying to figure out stuff with your quarterback, John Mateer, everything. It's too much. And since John Mateer has been hurt and came back, he ain't been regular John Mateer. He's not 100% healthy. He's not 100% back. And this Oklahoma offense is not moving at the clip that you would have expected. They're not throwing the ball at the clip. And I know that Satinga is having a good that he had a good game today, 6 for 131 and a touchdown. But this passing game for Oklahoma against Ole Miss, it should be better. It should. Think about what Georgia did to him. Gunner Stockton, 26 for 31, 4 touchdowns, 289. That's what we're talking about. Now, this Ole Miss defense is not what it was last year. Arkansas lit them up as well. Kentucky was able to move the ball and score. And their offense is stinky boo-boo. So this is a definite concern for Oklahoma. And Brent Venables, even though this season is better, he has to develop another quarterback because if you're living in this transfer portal age, you can't be doing this. And Oklahoma to get out the gate, they're at Tennessee, they're at Alabama, they got Missouri and LSU. The Missouri game is going to be tough for them, and the LSU game is going to be tough for them because both of those teams can play some defense, but neither one of their offenses spectacular. Now, can Oklahoma? Now, I do not believe Oklahoma is going to be able to go 4-0 down the stretch to get to the playoffs. So Oklahoma's out of the playoff conversation to me. But can they beat Bama or Tennessee and Missouri? Yes, they can. They can beat all of them individually, but beating 4 in a row, that is not happening. You can throw that idea out of your brain. Um. All right, so those are the games for this week. I'm actually going to show you guys my top 25 again. If you missed it from this week, there we go. So after today, I still believe Indiana's won. Still got Ohio State too. I'm actually going to move, and I'm going to tell you this preemptively. I'm actually going to move Texas A&M from 6 to 3. But I don't believe that after watching Oregon, Alabama play, and watching Georgia play the last couple weeks, and watching Miami play again today, and I know that they ended up beating Stanford, but it wasn't pretty in the first half. Yeah, like four through 10 is like a mixed bag to me, to be perfectly honest. Perfectly honest. LSU out of there. Um, Arizona State out of there. Missouri out of there. They're going to be out of the top 20, 25. Indiana, I'm sorry, Illinois is going to be out. Washington's for sure going to be in. And then there are going to be some other changes around there as well. But you guys, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. Thanks for coming. You guys, we are nearing 25,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And listen, I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate it, because when I quit my radio job over at Sirius to do this full time, and then obviously I do TV stuff at CW, still do some radio stuff, freelance and stuff like that. I dreamed that this could be what this community is growing into, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. I appreciate it. I got some. You guys dropped some bread in the chat today. It is appreciated. I thank you guys for your time. I do not take it for granted. This is why I come here, to be honest with you, to talk college football. We're gonna find some more ways to you guys to connect, so we can build a community, so we can do meetups next season, all sorts of stuff, dude. Because I love you guys and I appreciate it, because you guys have helped make my dream come true, what I believed. Because the thing that I believed is, I said I was never going to come on this air and say things that I did not believe, just try to get clicks and just say just BS. I promised myself I would do it the right way, and that I knew that you guys wanted it. So I got to figure out what kind of giveaways that we're gonna do for when we get to 25,000 subscribers, because you guys deserve it. Because you guys have helped me out and given me a platform and elevated me when I had other options, but this is what I wanted to do, and I knew that you guys would respond, and you guys did, and I appreciate it. So you guys, thank you guys so much, and I appreciate it, and I will keep bringing it all the time. Um, Next week I'll be doing the show on the road, because actually no, next week I come back on. Yeah, next week I come back on Saturday, so I'll be on CW. Let me tell you what game that I have, so you guys can tune in as well. So next week, CW, we have, because it's an ACC game. If you look in the pre-game, it will be. Oh my goodness. Oh, so it will be Louisville, Virginia Tech. So I'll be on the pregame for Louisville and Virginia Tech. So you guys make sure that you guys tune in for that one. Or it could be Miami, SMU, or Georgia Tech, NC State, because I think we may be on a 6-day hold. But either way, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Peace out. Catch you guys on Tuesday. Make sure you guys come for the live show on that, for the picks for this week. Holla at you.